Welcome to Natural Born Talents. Today's aura, the holistic thinker. Half tan, half red. This aura is a very unusual aura when compared to today's education system. This particular aura is unusual in many ways. It has a deep curiosity about life in general, especially humanity, kind of an abstract love of humanity. They're very friendly and love to please others. They don't understand or don't handle very strict people very well. They're kind of open-hearted and very loving. However, despite that, they're not very good at committing to deep relationships. This aura thinks randomly. Their mind makes connections without order. This not only confuses others, but themselves. They're constantly forgetting things, showing up at the right place at the wrong time, and vice versa. The education system, when it's so lockstep, is very confusing to this particular aura. Most people think in a logical and linear manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This aura is random. 1, 7, 9, 10, 3, 4, and so on. There are some great advantages to this kind of thinking, however. For example, if somebody is being an inventor of some gadget or something, they can make random connections to create something completely new. This particular kind of thinking is also good for debugging software problems. There are many other kinds of attributes I'll get into later. But the biggest problem with an individual with this aura is that when they go to school, they will, for example, study for 45 minutes of one subject, and then suddenly they have to switch to a completely different subject. This causes an enormous amount of confusion in their mind, because just when they're getting to understand what the teacher is trying to explain to them, it's time to go to gym class, or to lunch, or to something like this. It is better for this student to study a subject all day or half a day, then go on to the next subject. They can master their skills much better this way. This aura tends to become specialists in their fields, absorbing all kinds of information randomly, then putting the pieces together to come up with a conclusion. In a lockstep world, that is very difficult. Things like money, time, order is very difficult for this aura. However, this aura can be very compassionate, non-judgmental. However, they often come off as being somewhat childish to others. They're very friendly, however, and make friends with anyone. They love discussing ideas and are a very mental kind of person. They love gadgets and tinkering and computers and electronics, but they also have a side to them that appreciates nature very much, because nature doesn't put logical linear demands on them. So getting out of their head from time to time for a walk, for example, or a picnic or something like this is very good for this aura. So much so, some people with this aura tend to get into gardening. The natural flow of gardening is very relaxing to this aura. Because their thinking process is so random, they have a very difficult time explaining their ideas to other people. People often don't get what they're trying to convey, so they tend to shut them out or treat them as irrelevant. This can be very frustrating to this aura. So the best thing to do for this aura is to keep giving out as much information as they can until their listener understands the idea they're trying to convey. Because this aura is a friendly aura, it's very good at sales. They can explain what they are selling in great detail because they have learned everything about it from a holistic angle. The one problem about this aura doing sales, however, is money. Money is a logical linear thing, so they should probably have somebody else take care of that. For example, I saw one couple where the husband was doing the finances and he had a very logical linear thinking, but the wife was doing the sales, and this worked out perfect. They had a fine product they both believed in, and the housewife was the front of the shop doing all the sales, and the husband was doing all of the finances of it. However, this aura does have some areas in their psyche where they need to develop. They tend to be very, very childish. And on top of that, it's difficult for them to have a deep relationship, as explained before. The reason for this is they like to keep their autonomy somewhat. Though they appreciate humanity for what it is, if they have too many bad experiences or put down too much, they will shut off humanity. Deep love, romantic relationships are not their forte. They're more interested in ideas, objects, and products than they are in the deeper meaning of an individual relationship. This doesn't mean they can't do that, because on the other hand, if they are committed to somebody in somewhat childlike manner, they're very unconditional in their expression and expectations of love. Unlike the blue aura, who expects appreciation for their efforts, this aura is more interested in doing just for the sake of doing. So in a relationship, they often need to have a stronger willed individual leading the relationship for many reasons. One of the main reasons is because they don't make good leaders. They don't know where to take a relationship, in what direction. They need the other person to do this. They are too scatterbrained, so to speak, in order to make a relationship work, which means the person on the other side of the relationship has to be very patient with this kind of behavior. But if they are patient, they will receive in return unconditional love and a committed relationship. In other words, this aura often needs somebody that will ground them. This aura does like to socialize, does like being with people, but at the same time needs to be alone to process what they know, what they feel, and what they want to believe in. This aura does well when studying, say, something like culture, by going to the country and absorbing the language, the culture, the people, all at the same time. So they often become translators, get involved in cultural exchange programs, marry someone way out of their social class or race or something like that. Once they learn a skill, they make good teachers because they can teach randomly without judgment or emotional attachments from their students. And they love telling people about the things that they know when they have a good listener. This aura does often have an affinity to certain religions at times, going to a shrine or a church, and they place expectations of the higher being at those establishments, much like a child expecting to please a parent to be good. But any religion that tends to be too strict, especially when dealing with humanity, they will hold in disdain. However, I have seen this aura get caught up in some cults, only to eventually realize their mistake and leave, and simply leave, emotionally, mentally, and so on. There is much, much more to say about this fascinating aura. Perhaps we'll save it for another time. So I want to thank you for all listening. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below or contact me. Details are all listed in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.